whether it's rich, poor, family, doesn't matter what your job is. And the Rambam says, until when? Is there an age? Is there a time where one says, I got it, I'm done? Ad yom moso. That's it. Well, there's no time. There's no time to stop. Every day of our lives. When we're not learning, we're forgetting, the Rambam says. What do you mean, I'm forgetting? What, it seeps out of my brain every second that I'm not learning? Yeah, because Torah is not just a science. It's not just a study. We have to constantly be going forward. There's constantly movement. If we're not moving forward, right, it's backwards, and we're forgetting, and we're being less connected, and that's what we have to remember. And then the Rambam tells us a crucial point. Again, l'maisa, whether we do this is might not be the case, but at least the message of the Rambam, famous Rambam. To split up your time of learning. Curriculum. This is the curriculum Rambam. We had the financial Rambam. This is the curriculum Rambam. Shlish b'Torah shebechsav. A third Torah shebechsav. Shlish b'Torah shebal peh. The shlish. What else is left? Torah shebechsav, Torah shebal peh. What's left? To delve into. A third is just learning Mishnah and Gemara and thinking about the Svara. So going deep into it. Shlish yavin v'yaskil acharis davar merishiso, figuring it out. Yotzi davar midavar, being mefalpel, the lumdis, yadam medavar ladavar, and comparing things. The yadin b'midos sha'atar nidreshes bahen. That's hashkacha, but that's what we're starting with today. As Hashem, and figuring out the midos sha'atar nidreshes bahen. Ad sheyeda hechu ikar amidos, until you figure out what the message of the midos. Ech yotzi ha'asar v'amuter. And how halacha was gotten. This is called Talmud. Studying the Drashas Chazal and the Ikar Amidos. It's mamash hashgacha. Because I don't remember the last time we had a shiur about any of the midos. And today we're going to have a shiur about one of the midos, at least starting the shiur, about Kal V'chomer and the like. But that's what the Rambam says. It's a third of our time. So again, what does that mean? You have to split up the day. So I don't think anybody here is learning Tanakh for a third of their day. As much as we love Tanakh, I don't think anybody's learning that for a third of the day. Ketzad, says the Rambam, if you have to go to work and you have to work for 3 hours a day, and you only have 9 hours to learn. I both said that was the balabas in the days of the Rambam. He worked for 3 hours and he learned for 9 hours. I don't know what the non-balabatim did, but that's what the balabas did. Says the Rambam, Osa Teisha, those 9 hours that you learn, Torah b'shalosh bein Torah shebachsav, b'shalosh Torah shebal peh, b'shalosh nisponin b'daito lav and davar midavar. You think it focus on lumdis. The divrei Kabbalah b'chal Torah shebachsav. Divrei Kabbalah, that means halachas learned that from Nevi'im. That's also Torah shebachsav. Pirushan b'chal Torah shebal peh. Ha'inyanos hanigron pardes. The secrets of the Torah is part of category 3. So why don't we split up our day? Says the Rambam. When you're supposed to split it up into 3, when we first start learning, before we know Tanakh by heart. When we know Tanakh and Shas backwards and forwards and by heart. So then, once in a while, we could review it. Yikra be'itim mizumanim Torah shebachsav u'b'divrei Shmuah. Yidosh lo yishkav davar b'divrei Torah, so we don't forget. Yefana kol yomav l'talmud bilvad. V'pi rochav libo v'yishav daito. Focus all on the depths of knowledge, says the Rambam. So again, we read this Rambam, and it's somewhat depressing, right? The Rambam seems to say that at a certain point in our history, in our lives, we'll have to still work at Torah shebachsav and Torah shebal peh. There'll become a time when we'll know it by heart, and then we'll just focus on Talmud. Or, 3 hours of work and 9 hours of learning just for the balabas. What about for the guys in yeshiva? Got to be at least 18 hours of learning. The Rambam doesn't want us to be depressed. The point of this Rambam is just in terms of recognizing that there's a lot to learn, And we have to have time for everything. We have to bring this Rambam into our lives. That means there needs to be some time for learning Tanakh. There needs to be some times for learning Mishnah. There needs to be some times for learning everything. We have to set up the time, to do our best to be able to use the time properly. Again, there's a message of the Rambam. We should be inspired, like, wow, this is what our history was. But we also have to recognize that if we're working, and when most of us go out there and get a job, and we're not going to be involved in Torah all day, every day, we have to make Torah crucial. We have to make it a kavua and centerpiece of our life, even if it's not the quantitatively largest part of our life, but at least the qualitative part. I think I told you before. I remember I once asked one of my kids. They were in a hockey league. They once asked, speaking to his coach, they say, "No, so what do you do?" He says, "Oh, I learn with the rabbi, every morning from 6 to 7." I'm like, "Wow, that's great. But what do you do?" He says, "That's what I do. I go to work afterwards, but that's what I do." This is a Stama guy. I'm a hockey coach in the 5 towns. That's how he identified himself. I was very inspired. That's how he identified himself. This is what I do. I also, take a living and go out. Again, hopefully we could all do find a job that we could do, that we could feel that we're doing mitzvahs all day. And we're doing chesed, if we're an accountant and a lawyer and businessman, if we're out there helping others, that's also something that is valuable. But again, we will, as Hashem, we should just take the message of the Rambam of devoting our lives to good things. Okay. Let's get back to our sugya. Who's here now? Levi came. Ellie's here. Still missing, I think, 2. Mikey and Zakai, a couple of others. But anyway, let's move on to finish the sugya that we are talking about. Our 5th topic that we're discussing here in Yeish Nochlin. The fascinating topic of ניתנה, Torah, ונתחדשה, halacha. Torah was renewed. Right? The Rambam and the Pirush Mishnayos and Daf Kuf. That's the source that you take out of here. The Torah is renewed. Everything started at that moment at our Sinai. And that's first Milah and Yeish Nochlin and all the other, mitzvahs, tefillah and avelus. It all started. And even Bnei Noach mitzvah started. Fine. What about all the halachas? It seems to be from before Har Sinai. So 3 points. I only mentioned 2 yesterday. One I forgot. Number 1, maybe they're all derech eretz type of mitzvahs. That was one approach we said. We could all they're not really halacha. That helps with some of them, but not all. Some of them are bona fide halachas, right? The shchita, the zvachim halachas, the shchutei chutz, many other halachas. So there is another idea I didn't mention, a small idea that let's ask. According to the Rambam, let's just go in order. Second approach we said was Rabbi Yosef Engel. Maybe Kabbalas Torah is a process, not just a one moment in time. Just like Itin Taf Samach, it was a process after Har Sinai, Megillah ניתנה, so too maybe, and this is his chiddush, before Har Sinai. Maimon Har Sinai started with Abraham sometime in his life, and Yaakov. So that could also help for some of the ideas. The Rambam doesn't hold that way, though. As we saw, the Rambam rejects Avelus from the Shvatim and the Yerushalmi. What does the Rambam do with all those halachos that the Gemara learns from before Har Sinai? Right? They're not derech eretz type of halachos. So what would how the Rambam interpret all those halachos? So one would probably have to say that the Rambam would assume that those are all asmachtas. They're not really learning those halachas from those psukim. Really, there's a Mesorah. There's a Mesorah about those halachas, about chechting on top of the mizbeach for shchutei chutz, chechting with a detached kli. It must be, that's the only way to say it. There's 25 halachas that seem to be learned from psukim before Har Sinai. It must be that all of those halachos are really known without the pasuk. The Gemara connects it to that pasuk, but it doesn't really mean that that's the source. And that's how the Rambam must understand those halachos, kind of like an asmachta, but it's not. Don't take the psukim literally. Again, it's difficult to put into some of the words. Some of these Gemaras sound pretty literal. These are sources, but again, that's what the Rambam would have to say. And the last section of the topic that we almost finished was the assumption or an idea, a big discussion in the Rishonim and the Achronim, and already maybe in Chazal, connects to this idea of Rabbi Yosef Engel. To say that Kabbalah Satorah started before Har Sinai would probably force us to hold a specific shita in the sugya of what the status of the avos were. Right, this is a big topic. I mentioned the Parashas Drachim. The Bishlam Melech wrote a whole sefer just on this topic. But this is a big topic, and it comes up in many different areas of our discussion. Right, we have. Let me just find the right. Maybe this was good for the machlokes between Yosef and his brothers. Maybe that was the Moshe Zakanim. 1 second, I just lost my my sheet here. Let me just find the. Just find my sheet. Okay, maybe I put it somewhere else. Okay, we're just finishing it up anyway. Maybe the that was the machlokas between the Yosef and his brothers. That was the Moshe Zakanim. Maybe that's the Kufa, the Shakla V'Tarya and Kiddushin about whether Esav was a Jew or a non-Jew. We saw the Tosfos later on about Bas, Tosfos about Rabbi Bana'ah, the Machlokas Tosfos, the Ritva, the Nemuki Yosef, about pre-Yisrael, mini-Yisrael, super Ben Noach. Tosfos is somewhere in the middle. The Ritva seems to be a little stronger. The Nemuki Yosef is nothing. The Nemuki Yosef says, no, they were really Ben Noach. And the Tosfos assumes by later on Daf Kuf Mem Aleph. So all of these, but just two other ideas, and then we'll be finished. This is the Beferish to discuss it in the Ramban. This is a discussion in the Ramban. It's a Rashi from a few weeks ago's Parsha. And if we read Rashi, if we read the Mefarshim, Chumash and Rashi quickly, we don't catch it. Rashi at the end of Parshas Emor. And we have the story of the Megadef, right? The one that went out and cursed. Who was he? So the Torah says he was a Ben HaYisraelis ve'ish HaYisraeli. Ben HaYisraelis ve'ish HaYisraeli. Says the Ramban. Well, first Rashi. Rashi says, let me just get a Chumash. What's that Chumash? Says the Rashi at the end of Emor. Ben Isha Yisraelis Vehu Ben Ish Mitzri. A man went out. He was the son of a Jewish woman, and he was an Egyptian man. His father was Egyptian. His mother was Jewish. B'toch B'nei Yisrael. He went out B'toch B'nei Yisrael. Rashi. Melamed Shenis Gayer. What does B'toch B'nei Yisrael mean? He converted. B'toch B'nei Yisrael. So when you read the Rashi quickly, which often, I'm just as guilty as the next person. When we're Maverick Sedra, we often just rush through it, and we don't think about it. 1 second. Melamed Shenis Gayer. His mother was Jewish. His father was not Jewish. What does that mean? Melamed Shenis Gayer. His mother was Jewish. Why did he get Geras for? That's the obvious kasha on Rashi. What do you mean Melamed Shenis Gayer? That's what the Ramban is commenting on. Melamed Shenis Gayer, says the Ramban. Eino sheyitzarech gerus. Don't take this medrash. Rashi's quoting literally. He didn't need gerus. His mother was Jewish. Ela kechol Yisrael. V'nichlusu lebris b'milo v'tila v'artzos domim shas matan Torah. No, like all Jews, like when Bnei Yisrael at Har Sinai, they had bris milah, they went to a mikvah, so that's what he did too. Nothing more than that. It just means he's followed his mother's way of life. That's what it means in this guy here. His mother was Jewish, his father was not Jewish. He followed his mother's way of life. Omrim. Then the Ramban quotes the French rabbis. Ramban was Spanish, remember? Ramban Rashbarit Baran. the Spanish rabbis. That Sarfatim Omrim, Kitama Gerus Mipnei Shahaya Kodem Matan Torah. Literally Gerus, because it was before Ma'amad Har Sinai. What was before? This story happened after Har Sinai. Well, what does this mean? It was before Har Sinai. Somebody just what does he mean here? He was born before Har Sinai. The story is taking place in Emar. But when he was born, it was before Har Sinai. And at that time, his mother was Jewish, father wasn't Jewish. The Moshe Amr, the Mishnah says in Kiddushin, we know by Goyim, we believe in patrilineal descent when it comes to a Goy. Right? The father, Yerusha, we learned yesterday. Yerusha, the father is the one that determines for non-Jews, not the mother. So say these French rabbis, this Megadef that was born to a Jewish mother wasn't Jewish. He was born before Har Sinai. He was an Egyptian. When he got older, he was Niskayer. That's the Chochmei Sarfatim. Says the Ramban, the Ein Aiti Kach. I think that this is wrong. Ella Kimei Sheba Avram Bibris Hayu Yisrael Ubagoyim Lo Yischashavu. Bring a pasuk from Bilam. From the moment that Avraham was Nichnas Lebris. Does that mean Bris Ben Abitzarim or does that mean Bris Mila? I'm not sure. But at a certain moment, in the days of Avram Avinu, Israelim were already different. We were already a Yisrael. Ukemo, what does he quote? Ukemo sha'amar be'esa v'dilma Yisrael mumar shayin. He quotes the Gemara in Kiddushin on Daf Yud Ches that we saw. Esav teaches us that a Goy Yarshes his father. No, Yisrael mumar shiny. Ramban says that little phrase teaches us. That little phrase in the Gemara teaches us what this Chazal means. The Lamish and his Gayer is not true against the French rabbis. Again, what's this Machlokas Rishonim? French rabbis are clearly saying that before Har Sinai, before Matan Torah, the Avos were Bnei Noach. Maybe super Bnei Noach. They were Bnei Noach. There's a following halachas. And the Ramban says, no way. The Ramban says already, the Goyim Lo Yischashav. Bnei Yisrael were different. And therefore, the Lamich and his Gayer is not to be taken literally, says the Ramban. It was Beferish. Beferish Ramban at the end of Parshas Emor. One final point before we get to the last point. And that is a Gemara that we're all familiar with. It appears in a few places. Right, the Gemara says, I have an Avodah Zarah here. So I'll read it from Avodah Zarah. Yes, under appreciated Masechta. Yes. Yosef, you know, I say Avodah Zarah, so that's what I'll have to say. Anyway, says the Gemara, Dav Gimel Amid Aleph. The only Masechta in Shas that starts with Agadata. My Dechsiv, Vayerav Voker Yom Hashishi. Right, the Gemara says, why does it say Yom Hashishi? Right, this is a great week of Shavuos Gemara. Why did it say Yom Hashishi? Meaning, what should it say? Shishi, not Hashishi. All the other days, right? Yom Echad, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Ravi, Yom Hashishi. What do you mean Hashishi? Says the Gemara might say Yom Hashishi Malamed to His Nakadosh Baruch Hu Ma'aser Bereishis. Hashem made a t'nai with the world. Yomar Im Yisrael Makabel Torah Simuta. If the Jews accept the Torah, great. Yim Lav Ani Achzer Eschem L'Tov Avo. And if not, I will return the world. Tov Avohu. That's what we know. Hashishi, hey Sivan, of Sivan, the 6th day. So that's the Gemara that we all know. Great. Asks the note to be Yehuda, Slach. I think I gave this to you. Did I? I gave it to you? No. Ask the Slach, the note to be Yehuda. Right? Tziyam Nefesh Chaya. In Ksachim Samaches. Why was the Tanai only up until if Bnei Yisrael get the Torah? Let's get the Torah. So why Yom Hashishi? What do you have to wait so long for? Don't wait so long, right? Just when the Avos keep the Torah, when the Avos do the Torah, why isn't that enough? What's the answer? Somebody tell me the answer. Well, what's one answer that one might suggest?
That it's because the Avos kept the Torah before it was given.
Avos kept the Torah before it was given, and therefore
it was voluntary.
Okay. So the tzlach limits it, maybe like ניתנה was saying. The tzlach is saying the Avos kept it, that wasn't strong enough. Wasn't strong enough. It says, Alachari Yipala, Madua Haya Bria Shemayim Varetz Tluyim B'Rifyon. Why was the creation of the world in limbo? Kibli Yisrael Torah. Kilo Yikimu Havos Kol Torah. The Avos not keep the Torah. Lokim Avram Avinu. Afilu Erev Tavshilin. The Gemara says in Yuma. Even Erev Tavshilin Avram they kept. Sarach Lomar Sha'af Al Pi Shekimu Kol Torah. Lo Hayu Schusa Maspik. Kayim Chukos Shemayim Va'aretz. Even though they kept the whole Torah, it wasn't strong enough of his chus. They weren't commanded. As the Gemara says. Maybe you could say it even stronger. Again, if you say the Avos were Bnei Noach keeping the Torah, then the question doesn't even get off the ground. Right? The Avos were keeping the Torah, but they weren't Jewish, so to speak. Right? They were super Bnei Noach. They were, again, his question is assuming that they were Yisraelim keeping the Torah, and therefore, what do you mean? Again, the answer also might be you need a nation keeping the Torah. It's not about individuals. Even if, maybe that's what he means. He doesn't say it. He just says they were in two of Yosef. The two of Yosef was stronger. Maybe what he means is that a nation keeping the Torah, being an Or LaGoyim, is different. It's not just about individuals, but it's about a nation. Again, if it's B'nai Noach, then there's nothing to talk about, right? His assumption is that it must be Israel. Just to finish the sugya and to close out is that Reb Chaim that I gave you. Reb Chaim and Rav Asher, Eli. No. I gave you a grach al hashas, Reb Chaim. Rav Asher Weiss quotes this Reb Chaim also in his Svarim. Reb Chaim says, he doesn't say that's strong, but the Minchas Asher says it even stronger. We've had a whole discussion the past little while and yesterday about the Avos, what status they had. Says Rav Asher Weiss, it's impossible that the Avos were Bnei Noach. It's impossible. You can't say that. What do you mean you can't say that? Right? Didn't the Chachmei Tzarfat didn't say it? Didn't the Rashi say it in Avodah Zarah? Right? Didn't Tosfos assume that? He says it's impossible. That's not what they mean. That's not what they mean. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that the Avos had Kedushas Yisrael. You have to say that. We're talking about the Avos. I'll just add. How could they be an Av if they're not connected to me? Av means father. Is that just biological father? No. These are the Avos Ha'uma. Torah, all the symbolism of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. You can't say that they're Bnei Noach. You can't even say they're super Bnei Noach. The whole discussion is only not whether they had Kedushas Yisrael, but when they did mitzvos, what was it considered? Dino ke ben Noach or Dino ke Yisrael? Mahus, their essence, they have to be Yisrael. It's just that, what about their din? That's what Reb Chaim says. Reb Chaim says, the bechefza, every Reb Chaim has either chefza or gavra in the paragraph, even though this is about a gavra, the bechefza, hayu aleim shem Yisrael. Right? They had a shem Yisrael. Ella de din, hayu din ben Noach. Like you read the words, like what does that mean? They were essence of Yisrael. It means that their kedusha, their root, it was kedushas Yisrael. When they did mitzvos, was it considered A Jew doing, how could it be a Jew doing mitzvahs before the Torah was given? That's the whole machlokas. One says yes. It could be a Jew doing mitzvahs before the Jews got the Torah. The other one says no. No, they were kedusha. They had kedusha, but it was like a guy doing a mitzvah, so to speak. And therefore, he answers the question there. Again, I held myself back. We could have done another day on this topic. I'll just tell you the question that we didn't do. There are 10 answers for it. If they were B'nai Noach, right? We saw many Rishonim already say that. If they were B'nai Noach, that's the Chachmei Tzarfatim in the Ramban. That's the assumption of Tosfos and Baba Basra. It's the Havamin of the Gemara in Kiddushin. If they were B'nai Noach, then what they do about Shabbos? The Ben Noach is not allowed to keep Shabbos. It says that the Avos kept all the Torah. So you're stuck. Avos kept all the Torah. If you're a Ben Noach, you can't keep Shabbos. So there are fascinating, creative answers. Oh, they did it b'shinui, which is only for Jews and not for non-Jews. They carried tchumin. They did this. All these different suggestions that they try to come up with. How the Avos kept Shabbos, still didn't keep Shabbos. Right? Something in the middle. But Reb Chaim says, what are you talking about? They had Kedushas Yisrael. They had Kedushas Yisrael. Ben Noach can't keep Shabbos because he doesn't have Kedushas Yisrael. If he has Kedushas Yisrael, of course he can keep Shabbos. If he keeps Shabbos, what's it considered? What kind of schar does he get? Of course he has to keep Shabbos. And there's no problem. Shayach Kfar Lomar. Hoyalim did Akum Sheshovat, says Reb Chaim. Kivan kebechefsa hayu Kfar Yisrael. Inherently they were. Ve'im shayachim l'Shabbos. Shayach l'Shabbos. El delon istavu. Ein zechidish das aleim. Kiyim mishum kiyum. Ad delon istavu. Mishum hachi shaper shachim l'Shabbos. Not a real Akum. That's Reb Chaim. Right, he doesn't say the words chas v'shalom. When Rebbe Weiss quotes this in one of his pieces of Bereshis, he says, chas v'shalom, that he should really be B'nai Noach. Okay. But either way, Rav Yosef Engel's idea worked much better, assuming that they had some status of Yisrael beforehand. Okay. Just give me 20 seconds. I just got to answer something. 20 seconds. Go through some of the
Rabbi, why Ali was saying also maybe that why would even if they were B'nai Noach, maybe they were still allowed to keep Shabbos because the Lamaisa the Torah wasn't given yet. There's no Isra on necessarily B'nai Noach, but after the Torah is given to, they're not being mechadish a new religion.
Maybe that's another one of the answers. Maybe the Bris Shabbos only took place afterwards. Even if you say they kept the whole Torah, that means Shabbos existed, but they kept Shabbos. Right. Again, this is a popular topic in the Achronim. If you say that they were B'nai Noach, so then how do you do it? Again, it's Reb Chaim says no, chas v'shalom doesn't get off the ground. Okay.
Rabbi, yeah. Then where does it come from that there are sources that say that they only kept the mitzvos in Eretz Yisrael? Meaning, then they're not any category. Then there's sometimes one category and another category.
I didn't give you that piece. That's a separate also discussion maybe we could have. And that is if they kept the whole Torah, and especially if they were Yisrael, and how did they quote unquote violate certain things? How did Yaakov marry two sisters? Right? And how did Amram marry his aunt? Moshe Rabbeinu's parents was an illicit relationship. It was a nephew and an aunt. And how did they build Matzevah? There were not a lot. There were a number of Averis that were done. So the Ramban in Parshas Toldos answers they only kept the mitzvos in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, that's one suggestion. The Maharal in Vayigash says they only kept the mitzvos Atzei, not the mitzvos Lo Atzei. There are different suggestions to answer that question. But again, these are all connected. What status do they have? How they keep the how they do the Averis? What about Eretz Yisrael versus not? And it's all connected. Okay. Okay, we ready? let's at least start. Did anybody get a chance to see any of the new sugya sources at the start? So let's start at least somewhat, and then we'll pick up. Oh, I'll have to get back to you. But Zuckerman said he might be able to give shir tomorrow. If the guys are around, then you'll be, I guess, the Israeli contingent. But Ellie, maybe you'll just be in touch with him and the guys to see if it'll happen. Okay. So next sugya, again, as I said, go straight through the parak. Go straight through the Gemara and Rashbam. Again, there's interesting inyanim that come up all the time, but we're going to go to now. We just spent Kuf Yudam Apez, ניתנה, ונתחדשה, Halacha, Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph. So now, Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph is the next sugya. What's this talking about? It's just talking about the sugya of Ben and Bas in Nichsei Ha'im. Right? We know a son comes before a daughter when it comes to fathers, Yerusha. What about mother's Yerusha? A son yarshins a daughter. A son yarshins a mother. And a daughter yarshins a mother. So how do we know that a son comes before a daughter, even by Yerushas Ha'im, and not just by Yerushas Ha'av? Right? That is this sugya here in Kuf Yud Aleph, and there's a machlokas tanoim. Reb Zachariah ben Akatzav. Reb Zachariah ben Akatzav says they're equal. Ben and Bas split equally when it comes to the mother's Yerusha. Why? So let's go back. The Gemara quotes a source. The Gemara quotes a source. How do we know that a son yarshins? How do we know that a son yarshins his mother? So the Tanur Rabban in the top line, Kuf Yud Aleph and Aleph. Somebody want to read for us? Or did I read? Somebody want to read? Somebody want to take it? Okay, Avram, you can say. Top of Kuf Yud Aleph and Aleph.
Tanur Rabbanan v'chol bas yereshes nachala mimatos bnei Yisrael, and every daughter will inherit a nachala from the tribes of Israel. Heich bas yereshes shnei matos. How could a daughter inherit two matos? Elazu she'aviha mishevet echad ve'ima mishevet acher umesu v'yarsha son. So her father's from one shevet and her mother's from another shevet, and both of her parents die, and she inherits from both of them. So now she's inherited a nachala from two different shvatim.
Exactly, because it says matos, and matos is plural. So therefore, you know that a daughter yarshins. A daughter yarshins from the mother. Okay.
Ve'ain li elabah. So now we know that a daughter inherits. Ben minayin. How do we know that the son inherits from the mother? Amarta kal v'chomer. I'll give you a kal v'chomer. Uma bas shehurak kocha b'nechsei ha'av. Yafa kocha b'nechsei ha'im. The daughter who is weak in the father's possessions because the son comes before the daughter, and we know that she inherits by the mother. So Ben sheyafa kocha b'nechsei ha'im. The Ben who is strong in regards to the father because he inherits first. Eno din sheyafa kocha b'nechsei ha'im. Then for sure he should be able to inherit from the mother.
So you learn the son yarshining from the daughter yarshining. Okay, and if you look on Shabbat, then you compare it.
Right, Malahalan Ben Kodin Labas, just like by the father, the son comes before the daughter. Afkan, so too by the mother, Ben Kodin Labas, the son inherits before the daughter.
Fine. So that's how we know. We know that the son yarshins the mother from the fact that the daughter yarshins the mother, and we say just like by a father, Ben before Bas, so too by a mother, Ben before Bas. Fine. And then the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Amru, Rabbi Zachariah ben Akatzav. No, they argue. Echad ben v'echad Bas, shavim b'nechsei ha'im. They're equal. They're equal. Why are they equal? Son and daughter get. My time up because the whole source of a Ben is from Bas. And now you're telling me Ben's going to go before Bas? No. Dayo, love him, and Adin Leos can eat them. Be familiar with that principle? Comes up in a number of places in Shas. Dayo. The principle of Dayo means enough. Whenever you have a Kal V'chomer, the source that you're learning from can never be worse. If you have a source and you have an application, and once you learn it to the application, you can't say the application is better than the source. That's the principle of Dayo. It's a limiting Kal V'chomer principle. So Dayo, fine. So the Gemara says, but Tanakama doesn't hold to that. How can you say that Bas Ben goes before Bas? The Gemara says Dayo is Daraisa. And here's the important lines for us. Tanya, we think Kal V'chomer Ketzad. So what's that talking about? The end of Aloscha. What happens? Miriam gets tsaras, speaking Lashon Hara about Moshe Rabbeinu. And in the Psukim, Hashem says to Moshe, when Moshe is davening to heal Miriam, if her father had spat in front of her, right, the embarrassment that would be, she'd have to be embarrassed for 7 days. Right? That's what Hashem says. And the Gemara says, our boss are here. It's not that her father, so to speak, spat at her. Hashem spat at her. Hashem gave her tsaras. Hashem got upset. So if Hashem gets upset, says the Gemara, it should be 14 days. If her father spat at her 7 days, 14 days. So really, logically, says the Gemara, Miriam should be in tsaras for 14 days. The Gemara says, Ella, Dayo, love him. And then we say no. We say Dayo, meaning we limit the Kal V'chomer. Right? We learn from the father to Hashem. But if the father is 7, really, you should say to Hashem 14. Right? Kal V'chomer? No, we don't say the Kal V'chomer. We say only 7, even though it's from Hashem. That's the Gemara. Yeah.
But then wouldn't you say that every case of tsaras should be 14 days?
Every what?
That every case of tsaras should be 14 days, because it's all from Hashem.
Well, only here it was a kal v'chomer from a. First of all, you might say that all tsaras is 7 days because of this. Right? It is 7 days. Tsaras is always put away for 7 days until it gets better. But that's the heads. There are 7-day units in Hilchot Tsaras, right? That's probably what the answer is. That this is a svara that we use. Again, Hashem Himself told us all the other halachas of Tsaras for 7 days. He's the one that told us, but it could be based on this too. Okay. This is the sugya again. It continues. Important. Please continue it. But Gemara says that and that's why, even though misvara, we should say she should be in Hesker for 14 days, really is only for 7. So what's the kasha of the Rishonim? Yeah.
Does dayo apply to every kal v'chomer? You could always apply dayo?
That's a good question. Dayo is a big topic. Feel free to, we're not going to do it in Shir. Feel free to look into it, but there is the Gemara Baba Kama says that you don't say dayo if the kal v'chomer would be totally hufrach. What does that mean? There is a limit on dayo. Dayo is a limit of a kal v'chomer, but dayo is not applied when it knocks out the whole kal v'chomer. You wouldn't be able to learn anything from the kal v'chomer. Here you at least learn 7 days. You don't learn 14. So that is a limit on dayo itself. But okay, says the Tosfos. So now the question is, where does this kal v'chomer come from? Why is it that if Gemara says that if a father embarrasses someone 7 days, kal v'chomer l'shchina, kal v'chomer l'shchina. So Tosfos, Tosfos, Omer Rabbeinu Tam, says Rabbeinu Tam. What was Rabbeinu Tam's real name? Yehuda. Ephraim. What was Rabbeinu Tam's real name?
Yaakov.
What was his real name? Somebody. Yaakov.
Yaakov
tells us Yaakov. Yes. Yaakov Ish Tam. Yoshev Olim. Rabbeinu Tam's name was Yaakov. Rabbeinu Tam. So why is Hashem a kal v'chomer? Father 7, Hashem is 14. Where do you get that from? He says, Gemara Meseches Nida. The Gemara Nida on Daf Lamed Aleph Amid Aleph. Famous Gemara. The Gemara says that every child is born from 3 partners: a father, a mother, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 3 partners. And if you look at the Gemara says that Hashem is different in Girsaos. We're not going to go into it now, but Tosfos is assuming that there should be 5 on the mother list, 5 on the father list, and 10 on Hashem lists. It's different Gersos in the Gemara. Some of them have like 5, 6, 9. You got to work it out. There's 5, 5, and 10. It says Rabbeinu Tam. Father gives 5. Mother gives 5. So Hashem is a double parent. And that's this Kal V'chomer. If your father, who only gives you 5 things, embarrasses you, so Hashem who gives you 10 things, surely you should be quarantined, right, for double the amount of time. Right? What are those things? The Gemara says, Lamed Aleph, Shlosh Bnei Adam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aviv V'imo. Aviv Mazria, Halo B'Zerenu Atzmos V'Gidim V'Tzipranayim, Isha Imo, or Basar Saros, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nosim Beruach, Neshama, and all the senses. It continues. It's just a fascinating ha'ara. A number of Mepharshim say this, that we know when somebody is sick, Rahman al-Islan, we daven for them with the mother's name. And by a kelmale, we say the father's name after somebody dies. You know why that is? Why when somebody is sick, we use the mother's name, while by a kelmale, we use the father's name? So some suggest it's based on this Gemara. The father gives the bones. The bones exist even after death. That's why by the kelmale, we use the father's names. The mother gives the basar, the flesh, skin, right? The items that exist, at that time. And often the sickness is in the flesh. That's why we use the mother's name. Also might have to do with Rachmanis of the mother. Some say it's based on that. But either way, that's the Gemara. And Rabbeinu Tam says, that Gemara tells us that 5 from the father, 5 from the mother, 10 from Hashem. Okay, then we got double. But says Tosfos, I don't like that answer. That's the Kal V'chomer. Hashem gives double. I don't like that. Why? The im kain ze Kal V'chomer. If that's true, says Tosfos, that's not a Kal V'chomer. Then it's appropriate. It's not a Kal V'chomer. It's Medina. Hashem gives 10, so that's appropriate. What's a Kal V'chomer? If A, surely B. This isn't a surely. This is exact. This is the 5 from the mother at 7 days. 10 from Hashem. You don't need to learn it from the one that gives 5. Right? Hashem gives 10, so that's double. It's just a ratio issue. It's not a question of Kal V'chomer. You might call it a drasha. It's just a limud. The limud, not a Kal V'chomer. It's a Kal V'chomer. The Gemara says Kal V'chomer. Min adin lios yish lios keneged shneien. And then Tosfos quotes another question, Sifri Tosefta, which we don't know exactly where it is. I'm not going to do that right now. But let's get the 2 deos on the out there and cheer. Rabbeinu Chaim Cohen, Mefarish. Rabbeinu Chaim Cohen, one of the Bali Tosfos. Not Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim Cohen Mefarish. Kal V'chomer. A different Kal V'chomer. L'shchina Yoser Ma'at Mizayin. We understand that Hashem is greater than a father. Forget the Gemara. Hashem. If a human being embarrasses you, Hashem's got to be more. So how much more? Kivan da'afikte mizayin, ahainu hesker, ukme ashne heskeros. In the world of Tumah V'Tara, we go in 7s. So it's not daf that has to be double. But we know it has to be more than human being. So once you do more than 7, then you go to 14. Because Hashem has to be obviously more than a father. And then Tosfos quotes, according to our Girsa, V'chein mashma avos. Avos. Where in Pirkei Avos does it say anything like this? Nowhere. You look in the Bach changes it. V'chein mashma b'tosefta ba'avos. Tosefta avos. Did anybody here ever see a Tosefta on Pirkei Avos? If you did, I'd love to know. Right? If you look in the Mesorah Shas here, I didn't put it on the sheet because I hope that you got to it without me. Right? On that Tosfos, there's a little, in my Gemara, it's a hey, but you might have it somewhere else. It's a 15-line Mesorah Shas here, where he quotes, Lo Yadati Makomo. I don't know what Tosfos is talking about. Right? You see it somewhere on your page? Right? Somewhere on your page, there's a note from the Mesorah Shas where he says where all the Gemaras are. Everybody got it? Somewhere on your newfangled Gemaras, it has the Mesorah Shas. Oh, yeah, I don't know what Tosfos is talking about. Nowhere in Pirkei Avos, and we don't have a Tosefta on Avos. Ida. And he says, look in Tosfos Bava Kama. He also quotes it. He says, we don't have any Tosefta. The only thing we have close to that is the Avos to Rabbi Nassan. What's Avos to Rabbi Nassan? Avos to Rabbi Nassan is prices. That we have. It's one of the Mitzvot Ktanos. Right? It's like an expansion of Pirkei Avos. Pirkei Avos is 5 or 6 prakim. Avos to Rabbi Nassan is 41 prakim. Right? It's on the same topic. It expands. For every line in Pirkei Avos, Avos to Rabbi Nassan has 10 lines. Avos to Rabbi Nassan, right? It's a separate volume. It's also in the back of Mesechus Avodah Zarah with the other Mesechus Ktanos. So there's one line in there. I gave it to you on the chat if you don't have it, but I copied it. Right? So that has to do with us. But again, this is something that we're going to have to talk about. Let's end with 2 questions. Rabbeinu Tam, and then we'll have thought on the parsha. How would Rabbeinu Tam answer the first question from Tosfos? What did Tosfos ask on Rabbeinu Tam? That's not a kal vachomer that Hashem gave double. It's a limud. It's a drasha. How could Rabbeinu Tam answer that? Right? The Gemara says kal vachomer. It's not a kal vachomer. How could Rabbeinu Tam answer that? Question 1. Question 2. We're going to talk a little bit about kal vachomer in general to try to understand what Tosfos is bothered by. We say Rabbi Yishmael every morning, or hopefully we do. Rabbi Yishmael, the 13 midos. Rabbi Yishmael is the beginning of the Medrash Toras Kohanim. Toras Kohanim is the Medrash Halacha on Sefer Vayikra, also called the Sifra. The Sifra Toras Kohanim starts with Rabbi Yishmael Omer, the 13 midos. Everything about the order of the 13 midos that Torah addresses behind, Kal Vachomer is first. Gzeira Shava is second. You get to others. Why is Kal Vachomer first? And what's its relationship to Gzeira Shava? Right, we just learned the Rambam today. These are Yesodos that we have to try to figure out to appreciate. What's Tosfos so bothered by? It's not a Kal Vachomer, it's a limud. We're going to talk about the uniqueness of the drasha of Kal Vachomer, uniqueness of the drasha of Gzeira Shava, how they relate to each other, and hopefully get more of an insight into the Kal Vachomer that is in our Gemara. Okay, so this again gets us started into the sugya. Hopefully, you'll get to see more of it as we go on. I want to give you one thought on the parsha. Bamidbar. Okay. What should we do? Which thoughts? Rabbi Sachs in one of his Svarim on leadership. We'll go with this one. If you haven't seen the Emes Yaakov on this parsha, then you have to see it. Find it in Yeshiva. Everybody quotes it. It's one of the most famous things he said about the Golem at the flag. So look at the Rabbi Yaakov on Parshas Bamidbar. But anyway, Rabbi Sachs says this sefer is called Bamidbar. Right? Why? And in English, it's called Numbers. Why is it called Numbers? Because it's all about countings. There are countings. There's counting in Bamidbar. There's countings in Naso. There's countings in Pinchas. Countings. A lot of countings. That's Rabbi Sachs. The first Rashi on the parsha. What does Rashi say? Why does Hashem count us so much? Because He loves us. Counting is a reflection of love. Asks Rabbi Yaakov. That's Rabbi Sachs. If counting is an expression of love, then why is a Jew usher to count Jews? Right? You're not allowed to count Jews. David HaMelech got in trouble for that. Right? You know how to count. We count with shkalim. We count with saying a pasuk. Right? We counting is so amazing. When Hashem counts, it's amazing. Why is it so bad when I count? So explains Rabbi Sachs. Kitisa, when the Torah talks about counting, uses a very strange word, kitisa. There are many words in Hebrew that mean counting. Tibnet, tispar. A lot of words the Torah could have used. This is kitisa. Why? Because by counting, there's always a danger. When you count the total, and sometimes you can just focus on the total, and lose individual power of every single unit within the group. 100,000 people, 500 workers, 1 million this, 500 this, right? Counting has a danger to it. You might lose the quality of the connection of each one. When Hashem counts, he makes sure that doesn't happen. Because when you count, you have to make sure to kitisa. You have to make sure to lift up the individual as you count. You need 10 for a minyan, yeah, but you can't just go 1, 2, 3, because then, okay, we got 10, great. No. Every person is not just a number. And that's why you can't count directly. If you don't count directly, you realize, each person is a half a shekel. Each person is every one. Because that's what Judaism is about. It's about the klal and it's about the prat. And we can never lose sight of the prat just because we count the klal. As we start by midbar, we have to make sure that we always remember that we're part of a larger team. We're part of Am Yisrael. We each have our own personal job to do also. Our own individual goals. Our own individual things that we could attain. So that's what we have to make sure to do. Whenever we count anything, we have to make sure to do it in a kisisa, in an uplifting way. Everybody should have it in